bringing you the latest in crypto news. I'm Peter Perez, and here's your news flash briefing. Here with crypto news, I want to give you guys access to a lot of the data that's coming my way regarding the community as a whole, regarding the value system that exists within the crypto community, and also some of the key points of interest that we can look forward to in the future regarding safeguards that we can take, regarding certain measures that we can be aware of to ensure that the community is properly protected and that we're taking the measures to vet out the ICOs that are out there, because we don't want to get ripped off. I don't want to see anybody get scammed. And that's definitely something that the folks here at Crypto News can certainly agree with. So with that in mind, I am a U.S. Army veteran. I was in the military, in the Army rather, as a networking technician back, in between 2003 all the way up to 2009. Been to South Korea, stationed in Washington, D.C., and kind of got a good look at the inner workings within the government sector, and that moved out of that into kind of a business and sales area, which has now kind of taken me into as a sales and marketing consultant for some of the largest gaming entertainment and gaming lifestyle festivals in the world. And so, again, if you want to get more information on that, please feel free to reach out to me, and individually we can talk one-on-one and give you more of a rich history on the organizations that I work with, because I'm not here to plug them right now at this moment. But with that in mind, I do like to spend a lot of time with people to kind of get a better understanding of what the framework is within these existing online communities, whether you're focused in the crypto scene or you're looking at the gaming world and you want to have a good plan on how to reach a community with the right kind of messaging to make it inclusive, to make it feel like anyone can be a part of it, and to try to reduce the amount of barriers that exist within each of these online infrastructures, right? So we're all connected in such a unique way nowadays, and it's very rare when we're doing just one-on-one interactions. It's now a multi-transactional world where we've got lots of people working from home nowadays, and that the demographic with folks who are becoming new entrepreneurs, that too is changing radically. And so I like to take a peek at some of those trends and just kind of talk about what that means from a value standpoint for those who are interested in the cryptocurrency world, and also from those who are standing on the outside of it and have no fucking clue what is going on within this space. So I like to be able to talk, speak the language for those who have no idea, and also try to understand the technical jargon that we throw around there and help each one of us kind of connect better. So anyway, what I'd like to start out with on this particular video, because I do want to give you guys kind of a flash briefing in addition to just kind of a background on me. First up, I'm going to talk about what you may not understand about crypto millionaires. Jeremy Epstein writes, at the Satoshi Roundtable, lots of the top influencers within the cryptocurrency world came to this roundtable and had a conversation about cryptocurrency and what the applications and the implications are for the world. What was important about this article is they mentioned that there was no talk about anybody flaunting their personal wealth, what they do with their money, the traveling. I could imagine you sit in a room with somebody who has a lot of wealth that they're sure ready to gloat, right? You instantly have this vision in your mind that all they want to do is talk about themselves and another way on how they can make money. Well, on the contrary, personally, I feel like if you find your passion, if you find the thing that you love to contribute to effortlessly, you will find success in that. And so I tell all of you, if you're going to get into the crypto world, don't do it because you want to get rich. Don't do it just because you want to throw dollars all over the place. Do it because you are providing access to a world that is going to alleviate some of the major problems that exist out there in the world today. We want to reduce the barrier of entry. We want more people to come on board. We want more people to understand how blockchain works, and that blockchain and Bitcoin are not one and the same. And that as we start bringing in more people into this sphere, we have to understand that, there are going to be, just like in, USD, just like with the, the IMF, with the global banking cartels, with the money that exists there that is predominantly used throughout the planet right now, there is still all this shadow entities that exist there, right? These black market dealings. And, I hear a lot of this negative spectrum speech about what cryptocurrency means is that, it's a bunch of shadow operatives, right? Like, people just want to do commerce without an intermediary. People just want to do commerce between one another without constantly having to pay off to a middleman. And so this is opening up trade in a whole new way, and I love where this is going. This article also points out just a lot of the negative spectrum speech that comes out against the crypto world. And so they need a lot of you to be careful about that with a lot of the folks who are out there that put a lot of fear, right? Fear, uncertainty, doubt. We hear about all the FUD that goes on along in the internet world, and it's just good to caution ourselves to not pay attention to too much of that. There's a lot of good news that's happening out there, and of course, there will be problems. Even as we leave the old world money systems behind, there's going to be new problems that are going to surface. And so we're going to have to take steps to try to mitigate some of that. And so that's why it's important that we continue to remain connected. We talk about these issues, and, we put it out up front. We admit, when we've made mistakes, or we admit when we changed our opinion on something, or, be open to new concepts and new ideas. Because maybe blockchain isn't going to be the answer. Maybe it's going to be something more holacratic, or something more merit-based, or something that's, a bit more transparent in terms of, the user base and user identification. There's lots of things that are going to take place within the crypto world, and it's good that, we kind of find each topic that's interesting to us and be willing to go look for that information. So again, I can't stress enough how important it is for you to do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Believe nothing that I say, and just do what you think is good for you at the time being, and hopefully you'll be willing to live with those decisions. And so anyway, so continuing on, next up, John McAfee makes a public apology to Binance regarding the FUD statements that he made on social media based on some sources that were providing him information that Binance was going through some troubles. We all know that there was some pretty extensive downtime that happened with Binance, and people weren't able to create accounts. They weren't able to trade. There was nothing that you could do. And so that created a lot of fear, uncertainty, doubt, and there is a reason behind some of this, but he acknowledged that, this is a space where, he's interested in cybersecurity. That's, when people come to him and say, hey, there's some issues with Binance, perhaps, this isn't a place where we want to put our effort and put our investments in. Well, he made his public apology and formally apologized to Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance, stating that, it was over the top. He didn't mean, for it to get as much attention as it did. And so it was, a very mature position to take for John McAfee to come out and make the statement, regardless of how you feel about him personally. These are big players within the cryptocurrency world as of right now. And so it's important to kind of watch the trends that are happening there, because, as many people are out there talking about Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency being a bubble. I mean, between the beginning of 2017 and now, we've seen over a 4,000% growth within the, total market cap. And say that's nothing to, really be. We can't ignore trends like that. We can't ignore that there's this mass exodus that's happening from the old world currency into this new peer-to-peer, transaction system that exists. And, I'm very interested to see how this world is going to continue to grow. So if you want to hear kind of the breakdown from Changpeng, he did post something on LinkedIn where he goes into detail about the issue that was happening at Binance, kind of some of the technical issues that they ran into, some of the support systems that failed when they were under attack. It was a DDoS that happened at Binance, and so I'm sure they're going to come back with a report afterwards to kind of give them some insight as to perhaps where that attack came from, because those vulnerabilities do exist. we do have to take note that certain companies that start to enter into, the marketplace, the crypto market, that is going to be a big question, especially with larger organizations that are going to be VCs in this area. They're going to take necessary steps to do the vetting. They're going to want to do an audit. They're going to want to know that you have an existing team. They're going to want to know your target market. They'll want to know, where it is that you plan to have your redundancies so you can withstand some of these attacks that are going to continuously evolve in the future, which it simply could be a competitor, right? It could be somebody doing some IP masking. We could speculate on this all day, but we just don't have the answers. But it's interesting to keep an eye on these trends that are happening within the crypto sphere. So next up, government websites were attacked by mining malware, written by James Levison over at the Bitcoinist. So we got reports of mining malware infestations are an almost weekly occurrence now. Government websites were getting Monero mining apps that were being put in, or they're being layered into government websites. And so I haven't found a statement from Monero on whether or not this is something that they had knowledge of, which I'm sure they do at this point. But it's, again, the vulnerabilities that exist out there. How much trust and faith do we have into these government websites that are out there that are susceptible to this malware? And so, again, it's opening up an opportunity here for the internet security guys to come in and say, hey, we can help you out here. There's perhaps some money to be made there. Or is this, self-sabotage? Is this kind of a way to discredit the cryptocurrency world, right? We know there's all this FUD going around, and the big banks, the elite, the old world money barons, they do not like the idea of cryptocurrency taking over and taking away valuation from the currencies that they've been holding on to, since the inception of the Federal Reserve and the International Monetary Fund. So interesting times. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your time and support at Crypto News. I'm Peter Perez. You can shoot me a follow over on Twitter. Stay on top of all the latest gaming news that I put out, in addition to any crypto information that I find on the web. I will try to do these videos on a daily basis as often as I can. I really appreciate you checking this out and listening in. We'll be back to do this some more. You guys have an awesome day. And Crypto News, I'm Peter Perez, signing out.